Hello, welcome, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Kaz, your host, back with Episode 2, Part 2 of Kaz's Fighter Jet Roundtable Tournament. So, without wasting too much time, let's go ahead and zoom on into the watchtower and take a look at the aircraft we have for you today. Alright, so starting off on this side, we have the F2K Ultra Nemesis sent in by Mustache. How appropriate then that the pilot of this craft does in fact have a mustache. Very nice. So this craft is apparently an older version of said aircraft that has been updated to function within the FJR rules. Several of the aircraft submitted have been like that. But this one really piqued my interest, and why, you might ask? Well, it is, I believe, the first aircraft submitted in which we have dual pulse lasers, which means this aircraft does not have a gun, and has reduced its missile count by 50% as well. By replacing the gun and cutting the missile capacity in half, this effectively turns it into a very dangerous pulse laser fighter. Now, other than that, it is loaded with a fairly custom, very standard-looking AIM-9 Sidewinder missile, and also we have these CNPL-10E missiles. I'm not honestly sure what kind of missiles these are. I think they might be radar. I guess we're going to find out, though. I think they actually have a longer or more precise operating range than the AIM-9Xs. They could even be long-range heat-seeking missiles, which could be fairly interesting. We are getting a little bit of Z-fighting on this craft, which, it's not that bad. It could be worse. You know who you are. And it is powered by the old staple, the Saturn afterburning turbofan engines, or afterburning jet engines. Either way, I think this will be a very interesting craft and one to watch, especially with these control surfaces here. I think it's going to be very nimble and very fast. Very interesting. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on the other side. So over here we have the AFX 104 sent in by Jim and Saw. You might remember that name from one of our previous episodes where he submitted the 103. The 103B, to be specific. This appears to be a wholly new design, and honestly, the reason I selected this design in particular to go up against one of these first dual pulse lasers is because this craft is another first, in that it has a very interesting thing. It's definitely not the BK-27 Mausers, which it has in a pair mounted over there, or the unique placement of anything else, per se. It does, however, use these R-77 air-to-air missiles, a first in this competition, which will be interesting. And they're set to engage missiles, which will be interesting to be used for missile defense. But no, that's not what strikes my fancy here, even though it's a triple Saturn design tri-jet, so it'll be very fast. But no, it's all the way down here. We take a look in the undercarriage. It only appears to have 3 missiles. But what's this? Those look like missile fins. In fact, they are. And what's this? It is an adjustable rotary bomb rack. This part is very, very interesting. In fact, what it does is this cuts down on the craft's radar signature by having the missiles and other items hidden within the fuselage. When this missile fires, that bomb rack will rotate to bring the second one below into a firing position, almost the same way that a revolver handgun works, in that it fires a bullet, rotates around to the next one. So this is going to be very interesting. I really cannot wait to see how this thing is going to function. It is the first time I have ever seen something like this. We've seen Bombay doors and other things before in previous fights. Not in this tournament. However, this is going to be interesting. I'm excited. This is cool. We have two firsts going up against each other. Very, very interesting. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, get these things started, and begin our fight for today. So here we are back at the Watchtower for the start of this round. We have the Ultra Nemesis versus the AFX-104. Let's go ahead and get these aircraft into the air. So let's see. Looks like we have AFX-04 is taking a little longer to get off the ground, although they are slightly heavier, I believe. Although, again, that takeoff speed can be changed in the AI settings, meaning that whichever one takes off first is, well, kind of a misnomer. Doesn't really mean anything. However, we can see that the Ultra Nemesis is climbing very high. It was mentioned in the aircraft description that the Ultra Nemesis here is an interceptor, which means it's probably going to be making use of high-speed attacks. And from the AFX-104s, we have an AIM-9 being fired immediately. Looks like those PL-10 missiles are now firing in and tracking. Whether or not they're tracking the missiles or the aircraft remains to be seen. Oh, and we have an immediate missile kill on one of the AFX-104s. Debris and confetti going everywhere. Let's get on in here, see how things are going. With those dual pulse lasers, this aircraft is going to be fighting for its life, especially in a 2v1. That Ultra Nemesis definitely living up to its name so far. Dual pulse lasers definitely adding to the deadly factor of these aircraft. We have another missile being fired. We have a pulse laser hit. The FX-104 seems to be missing one of its tail surfaces now, although it doesn't seem to be too adversely affected by it. However, that pulse laser shot is going to cause some problems. That leaves just the Ultra Nemesis. Definitely a very deadly, nimble, fast fighter, something to be looking out for. Let's go ahead and get these into round 2. Here we are back at the Watchtower for the start of round 2. Let's get these aircraft into the air. As you all know by now, I'm always rooting for a round 3, except in issues where the matches last more than 20 minutes. However, in this case, I really am hoping for a part 3. That would be rather interesting. However, I don't know if the Ultra Nemesis is going to let the AFX get away with it. Those missile kills were definitely brutal, although if we can avoid the missile kills, who knows? Competition is now starting. Ultra Nemesis getting its turn on. Looks like, again, the AFXs are the first to get off missiles, firing those AIM-9s. Those PL-10 missiles are coming in. Wait a minute. Oh no, we've just had a PL-10 friendly fire on the other Ultra Nemesis. This is now a 2v1. And the AFX gets slapped by a missile. Let's go ahead and get into our pulse laser fighter here. See how it's doing. Just hemorrhaging missiles there. This is a very nimble craft. It appears not to be quite as nimble as the AFX's. Again, this thing is supposed to be an interceptor, not truly a dogfighter. However, it seems with some of those, looks like with some of the wing surfaces and other things missing, it is struggling to maintain control and gets shredded by the AFX 104. You guys might want to check your missiles next time there, buddy. Anyway, that means we're heading into round 3. So here we are back at the watchtower for the start of round 3 between these two aircraft. We've seen a lot of friendly fire this episode and a lot of missile kills, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. That'd be rather unfortunate. I'm really hoping we get a good fight between these planes for round 3. So, they are climbing again, the Ultra Nemesis, showcasing their ability to climb and that very high speed. Although it is possible that if the AFX-04s were set to reach a higher starting distance, they might be able to initially go faster. They do have 4 engines. And with that, competition is starting. Once again, 104's getting their missile off first. We have an AIM-9. Ultra Nemesis firing its own PL-10 missile. Will they avoid it? Dumping chaff and flares. PL-10 streaking in along with an AIM-9X. We have pulse lasers. Let's zoom in. We're missing some action here. And just as I do that, the Ultra Nemesis is taken out by a missile and an AFX. Gee, this is now a 1v1. So fast. These rounds are... It's like a blitzkrieg. Ultra Nemesis trying to line up those pulse lasers. Trying to let them cool down a bit. AFX-104 getting dangerously close to the terrain there. The Ultra Nemesis climbs high, trying to hold on to its power. Have a bit of a joust. These two aircraft are now fighting neck and neck, trying to get their win on. Those 30mm guns are definitely deadly. The FX-104 could definitely win this with a good lineup with those guns if it did get a shot on it. And the Ultra Nemesis obviously has those pulse lasers. It could really be anybody's fight. Seems to just launch off the rest of its missiles. No real reason. Missile streaking by, one of those AIM-9s. Now the AFX is on the tail of the Ultra Nemesis.
Bruh.
And the Ultra Nemesis crashes into the terrain. One of the problems with those speed-focused fighters, they don't necessarily turn particularly well. Well, that about settles it, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that the AFX-104 is, in fact, the winner of today's episode. Well, it's definitely been a shorter one. I guess I can't complain too much, means less editing for your old boy Kaz here. And since I have enough planes where I was originally thinking of doing a double episode, maybe I can get more recording in today. Who knows? Either way, thank you for joining me today, and partaking in this lightning round of fights. I can hardly believe that it's over already. I'm gonna have to rethink my afternoon. Either way, I've been Kaz. See you next time.